let's talk. We're talking first about the thousands across TNT that lost electricity today. And the reason they lost electricity, NGC brief disruption in supply of natural gas. In case anyone was wondering, at 11:30 a.m. yesterday, that would be, according to when you're listening to this, yesterday would be Wednesday, a massive power outage was experienced in north, central, east, and south Trinidad. Affected areas included Port of Spain, San Juan, Trinity, West Maurice, Glenclo, Marval, Arima, Sangre Moruga, Chaguanas, Canopier, Freeport, and Pinal. Thousands of households were affected, some for about half hour, others for a couple of hours. Tobago was not affected. The electricity disruption was caused after the supply of natural gas to the power producer Trinidad Generation Unlimited was disrupted because of work being done by the natural gas company. So how we make electricity is we burn natural gas, and our supply of natural gas was disrupted, and because of that disruption we lost electricity. I knew something very strange was up when I was there, and where I was taking in some Wi-Fi. I had some Wi-Fi, so I'm there taking in my Wi-Fi, and then Wi-Fi disappears. I'm like, okay, as a big man, I have some data, so okay, switch across the data. There's no data. I'm like, did China attack? I shouldn't say this probably on TikTok, but I was like, something strange is going on here. This doesn't add up. And whatever it seemed happened that knocked out the power, it knocked it out, that knocked out whatever was giving me data too. So we were out for quite a while. But thankfully, the disruption didn't last very long. They were able to resupply that gas supply to our electricity producers, and we were able to get that current back and that electricity back. That wasn't, of course, the main topic of today. That was just by the way. Our entire power outages were at one point in time much more frequent. This is something that is a good perspective to have when you're in Trinidad and Tobago. If you speak to some people who come from some less developed places, they would let you know that power outages are actually a very regular thing in many of those other places. While in Trinidad and Tobago, we have the blessing of a blackout being so strange. It's a very strange thing, generally speaking, in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't lose electricity, at least not for long periods of time. Do I think it's a strange thing, it's a convenient thing that this is happening as soon as the unions are protesting? The thing is, the unions aren't yet protesting. And to blackout power, I always say I like a good conspiracy, I enjoy a good conspiracy too. But to blackout power doesn't actually affect what the unions are doing right now. And I believe at the time the power was blacked out, not all places were blacked out, but quite a few places. At the point in time the power was blacked out, the unions may have been at that point in time in a meeting with the Attorney General. And I am not sure what came of that meeting, but the unions don't seem pleased quite yet. In Venezuela, they only get power 1 to 2 times a week from what the few Venis he talks to see. And here's the strange thing with that. Venezuela has more oil and gas than us in Trinidad and Tobago. They have all that they need to supply their oil and gas resources, and yet still they're getting those blackouts. That has to do with management. Generally speaking, when you see those things, that's management.